Hey guys, Michael J. Crawford here, and welcome to day 30 of our 40-day fast. Today we're going to be reading from the Gospel of John, chapter 19, verse 31, through chapter 20, verse 10. Since it was the preparation day, the Jews did not want the bodies to remain on the cross on the Sabbath, for that Sabbath was a special day. They requested that Pilate have the men's legs broken and that their bodies be taken away. So the soldiers came and broke the legs of the first man and of the other one who had been crucified with him. When they came to Jesus, they did not break his legs, since they saw he was already dead. But one of the soldiers pierced his side with a spear, and at once blood and water came out. He who saw this has testified, so that you also may believe. His testimony is true, and he knows he is telling the truth. For the things happened so that the scripture would be fulfilled. Not one of his bones will be broken. Also, another scripture says, they will look at the one they pierced. After this, Joseph of Arimathea, who was a disciple of Jesus, but secretly because of his fear of the Jews, asked Pilate that they might remove Jesus' body. Pilate gave him permission, so they came out and took his body away. Nicodemus, who had previously come to him at night, also came, bringing a mixture of about 75 pounds of myrrh and aloes. When they took Jesus' body and wrapped it in linen clothes with the aromatic spices, according to the burial customs of the Jews, there was a garden in the place where he was crucified. A new tomb was in the garden. No one had yet been placed in it. They placed Jesus there because of the Jewish preparation, and since the tomb was nearby. On the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb early while it was still dark. She saw that the stone had been removed from the tomb, so she ran to Simon Peter and to the other disciple, the one Jesus loved, and said to them, "They had taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we don't know where they have put him." At that, Peter and the other disciple went out, heading for the tomb. The two were running together, but the other disciple outran Peter and got to the tomb first. Stooping down, he saw the linen clothes lying there, yet he did not go in. Then following him, Simon Peter came also. He entered the tomb and saw the linen clothes lying there. The wrapping that had been on his head was not lying with the linen clothes, but was folded up in a separate place by itself. The other disciple, who had reached the tomb first, then entered the tomb, saw, and believed. For they still did not understand the scripture that he must rise from the dead. Then the disciples went home again. What catches my eye most in this passage is Peter and John's reaction to the empty tomb. They did not yet understand the scripture that he must rise from the dead. It's clear they believed Jesus really had resurrected, but they didn't yet fully understand it. They were witnesses to the empty tomb, but the meaning of the resurrection was not yet clear to them. This moment highlights the struggle between seeing and fully understanding God's plan. How often do we, like Peter and John, see the evidence of God's work in our lives, but fail to utterly comprehend what he's doing? We might see a situation change or experience God's provision, but the bigger picture, the greater plan, is still unfolding. Or maybe we'll come to see how God has been preparing us through a series of seemingly unrelated events, which in hindsight we can see were all leading to one extraordinary moment. Peter and John saw that Jesus was gone, but would take more time and revelation for them to grasp the full reality and prophetic nature of his resurrection. This passage reminds us that faith is often a journey. Sometimes we see the signs of God's hand at work without fully understanding his purposes. But even when we don't yet understand, we are called to trust him. Peter and John would soon encounter the risen Christ. They would understand the victory of his resurrection and the fullness of his prediction in the Old Testament and in Jesus' teachings. We too will see God's plan more clearly as we continue to walk in faith. Even when we don't fully comprehend, God is always at work, and His plans for us are good. Begin praying with Psalm 68, verse 20. Our God is a God of salvation, and escape from death belongs to the Lord, my Lord.